Hey guys, what's up? It's your soon to be favorite RuneScape 3 content creator not making RuneScape 3 content. This is RuneScape like your grandpa used to play. This is RuneScape Classic, one of my all time favorite games, one of my all time nostalgic games. This is what started it all, guys. This little game here, and I thought it would be cool and interesting to put up a video where I play RuneScape Classic because I spent so much time in this game. Um, when I was about 11 years old, I started playing it at the Boys and Girls Club, and I got addicted really soon afterwards. And this is basically free to anybody that has a membership. I think you had to have gotten in on a certain open like open invitation weekends or something like that. So you may, if you created a new members account today, you may not be able to actually access the game. I can't be completely sure because obviously I only have one membership and my character's already been accepted into the game. So, I can't vouch for if you started a new character today and made it membership, you could get into RuneScape Classic or not. But what I would say to do is if you have a membership currently, go ahead and Google search RuneScape Classic and click on the first option. That'll take you to RuneScape's page for Classic RuneScape, and you can try and log in from there. The worst it's going to tell you is this account is not eligible to play RuneScape Classic. That's what it'll say. That's what it'll say if you log in. If you try to log into like a free to play account, it'll say the same thing. So basically, this game was the game that I spent so much time on. It was the first online game that I had ever played. The first one that I had ever, I'd never understood, and it took me a while to fathom the fact that I was playing with multiple people online, from all over the world. And I met a couple good friends from RuneScape actually. So basically, my stats as you're seeing them now, for the most part, have been what were there whenever I transferred my account to RuneScape 2 all the way back whenever RuneScape 2 had just come out of beta testing and it was able to be played by the masses. So my character is pretty modest as far as it goes, combat level of 54, and this is honestly the way that I liked it to have been. If old school RuneScape had done the same thing, I probably would have went back to old school RuneScape and played a lot more than I actually have, and I probably still will in the future. But it kept your stats. It didn't reset you back to zero whenever you came back to the game, whenever they reopened the game for new players. They kept the stats at the point they were when they stopped playing. So when old school RuneScape did this, when they opened up OSRS, they set everybody back to zero. And that was really disheartening for me. So I stopped thinking about playing. I'll go ahead and show you guys my bank. That way you guys can know what's going on. It's a pretty, decent bank, I guess. I do have 98 mil, which came from a guy just like randomly was standing here, and he was like, "Hey man," I said, "What's up?" He said, "Do you want some money?" And so obviously I said yes. So then he gives me 100 mil for like nothing, and I'm like, "Okay, thank you." I was really excited about it. But then I also used that some of that money to buy a full rune set and a dragonstone. That way I know that I have the best outfit in the game other than, dragon, which I'm not even at the level where I could use. And I think that's where I'm going to start on this journey of playing RuneScape Classic again, is just getting my attack, defense, and strength levels up to get my combat level to a point where I can do later game things. So I've always logged into RuneScape Classic and I've played and I've skilled a little bit. I've never let the account go dormant for more than a month or so. The problem with RuneScape Classic is nowadays in RuneScape 3 especially, you get so used to and you take for account so many ways that the game has come forward and made it a lot easier for players. So in RuneScape Classic, it is freaking tough. First off, we're going to start by looking in our inventory. or in our stat menu here, and you'll see this little fatigue bar here. So when your fatigue gets to 100, you have to do one of two things. Either you have to sleep in a sleeping bag, or you have to find a bed and sleep in that bed. And whenever you get into that, you have to wait for the fatigue to go back to 0, and then you have to type in like a captcha word to get out of the bed. This was their anti-cheat back in the day. This was the way to keep the people from cheating at the game with like bots and mods and stuff. They basically put this in to where if you were using a bot or anything like that, you would have to watch your account, because at a point you're going to hit 100 fatigue and you're going to not be able to do anything until you sleep, because literally the only thing you can do is like access your bank, or you can go and walk around. You can't skill at all. And if your fatigue's to 100. Now, one thing I do want to say is I don't know if when you hit 100, if you attack an enemy, if you can attack it, but then you just don't hit it. I don't know if it'll just sit there and kill you and you can't attack back or not. I'm not sure about that. We'll find that out, I guess, in my playtime. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna spend some time with this and try and get up to, hopefully, my goal is 60 attack, 60 defense, and 60 strength. Right now, that's about 15 levels for each. About 12 levels for strength. So that should put me around a level 62 combat level, I'm hoping. If my math is correct. I don't know if it is or not, but you know. But yeah, this is a game that really sparked my childhood interest, and it was one of the first games, you know, that I probably spent, you know, 10 plus hours in. I mean, I've put hundreds of hours into this game. You know, I've put upwards of 6,000 almost hours into RuneScape as a whole via the Rune metric system, which go check that out if you don't. That's a really cool way to figure out, you know, when your account was made and how long you've put into the game. So check out Rune Matrix Rune Metrics if you haven't already. But yeah, this is the one that started it all. Since I'm going to be training some combat, I'm going to go over here to these jail guards. That way you guys can see basically how the combat system is, and that way you guys can get a little idea of how the things are. Now, I mean, it's not the nicest game graphically, obviously. You know, it was made in 2001, released in 2001 for play, and in 2001, I mean, to accomplish a feat that you could play online with people, a completely free experience, that was really something, you know, unheard of at the time. And especially something that was completely web browser based. You know, you didn't have to download a game to play this. It was online. You just go to RuneScape and you could play it instantly. It was groundbreaking, you know, and it blew my mind wide open. It completely blew me away. Obviously there is no running in this game. You walk at the same speed. There is no energy for running or stamina or whatever you want to call it. There are some things that I do need to learn about RuneScape Classic. I will say that I started this game and I was never a member whenever RuneScape Classic was big. I got my first membership in about 2008 whenever RuneScape 2 was in full swing. And so I don't know really where to train a lot of these member skills. You know, I don't know where to start with Herblaw. I don't know where to go with agility or thieving. Obviously, thieving is a lot easier to find something to steal from. But as far as, let's see, as far as, you know, finding, you know, an agility course, it's going to be kind of difficult. You know, I need to search up and find out where that is, and the problem is there's not really that much content out there left for this game. Now there is like Shizzled, which is a website completely dedicated to RuneScape Classic, so you can go on Shizzled and you'll be able to join a community where people are talking about the game, people are playing the game constantly and on the regular, and you can have you know, conversations about the game. So I'll put that link to that website down in the description box, just in case you can't access this game and you'd like to play it again. I will let you guys know of that community. There's also RuneScape forum posts. One of them being a really helpful one is kind of like a GE for well, it's a price guide more than anything for for RuneScape Classic that Leda made, and me and Leda have talked a lot on here on RuneScape. She is a mod on RuneScape 3, and always spent a lot of time. Used to spend a lot of time in RuneScape Classic. I believe she's kind of moved on at this point, but there's a forum post that outlines prices of different items, and the good thing about them and the bad thing about them at the same time is that the item prices in RuneScape Classic, that is just basically, that post is more than anything, it is a guide. It's a starting point, because you'll find out really quickly that in RuneScape Classic people will gouge prices a lot. And I mean, there's nothing that you can really do. I just advanced a strength level. I didn't even realize I was close. But they'll gouge prices a lot because they realize that there might only be 200 to 300 people playing RuneScape Classic consistently. So they find out that they can pretty much charge you whatever they want. And if you want it bad enough, I mean, you will pay it. Whereas a lot of people as well, they just want more people to play the game. So they'll try and make it easier for you, where how I got into this, people just, gave me that person gave me that 100 mil because they wanted me to get the feel for the game. They wanted me to not have to, you see this as too tired to gain experience, get some rest. So yeah, so we need to go rest. But anyways, I can't do any more killing. I'm going to show you guys something really cool about prayer, and something that makes prayer kind of easy to get a 99 in RuneScape Classic. Let's show you guys this. So you see I have bones here. And if I go to the first one and I click on it, it buries it, and I don't have to click and go through my inventory. It just drops them all right there, and I only have to one click. So I'm going to show you guys the sleeping bag. So when you click on that sleeping bag, it's going to put you into a sleeping mode, and you can see the fatigue going down, 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 and down. And when that gets to 0, it's going to want you to, well, you can do it in at any time. You don't have to wait till it gets to 0 if you don't want to, but it's kind of useless not to. So what you're going to do here is you're going to have to type in this captcha word. So in our case, it is rumble. So we'll go ahead and type that in and press enter, and that'll take us out of our sleeping mode. And you can see here that the fatigue goes back to 0. And at this point, I mean, most people will just carry a sleeping bag with them, and normally I do. But that's RuneScape Classic in a nutshell, guys. I'm excited to play some more of this with you guys here on YouTube, and I want to get the conversation going. If you guys played RuneScape Classic and this is nostalgia for you, let me know, because it definitely brings back good memories for me. And this will be a good way to kind of get me back into the game a little bit more, and to grind a little bit harder to get these levels, and to get myself at a level where I can compete with people and do things with people, because there's KBD killing and stuff in this game, and at level 54 there's no way I'm gonna compete. So I want to get up there to like level 100 or however high I can get. I want to max these stats eventually, and get my max combat. That way I can go and have fun with the high level people. But anyways, guys, my name is Sonic, your soon to be favorite RuneScape Classic content creator, and I'm gonna catch you guys in the next video. Peace.